Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, for those of you joining for the first time today. All right, guys, it's Friday, it's the weekend, and it is time to go and enjoy some time away and relax with your family. If you work this weekend, I hope you enjoy your weekend. I am not going to be here. I'm going to be spending time at home with my family and just hanging out. All right, guys, so in my last video, I talked a little bit about, like liquidity running away. So just one thing, and I'm not going to talk a lot about that. I'm just not going to lie to you. I'm not the best person to talk about it in the sense of like being able to make that make sense coming out of my mouth. So I'm not going to try that. I know what's going on because I know how to read and I know how to do my due diligence. But to properly say it out loud is not where my forte is at in a sense. So I'm not going to get too much into it other than the fact that if you're not paying attention to it, the reverse repo market is at the lowest point that it's been in the last 3 years, which is showing you that they're running out of money to use to continue to buy bonds and trade them back and forth day to day like what it's intended to do as one of its purposes. Eventually, when that number gets low, they're going to have to start basically buying back their collateral, which is again, this is why I'm not talking about it, because I'm already getting tripped up over my words. So collateral that's used, they're going to have to start dipping into that. They're going to have to start spending money, and this is where a lot of those little hedge funds are going to get in trouble, is because there's not a way for them to make that 5.25% or whatever it is by loaning their money to the Fed every night so that they can use it to keep things going. All right, guys, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? Like I've seen a lot of news articles coming out now in different financial news media outlets talking about things that are just, in my opinion, ways to get you ready for a crash or ready for something to happen, because we've heard it for so long. Oh, things are going great, but is it really going great? So one thing that I've seen from multiple media outlets recently is the Fed is ready for a big bank to collapse. And in the sense that, oh, if a big bank's collapse, we're good, we got it, you don't have to worry about it. Well, why would they put that out there if they're not anticipating something big happening, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. They've been saying for a long time that, like, oh, the banking crisis isn't a big deal, whatever. Like, we all saw what happened and the impacts that it had, last year with all this stuff. Guys, it's not over yet, right? Like, they're all kicking the can down the road. We've been talking about can kicking for a long time, and it's nothing that has slowed down in any stretch of the imagination. So they're just continuing to dig deeper and deeper into this hole, kicking that can down the road, and eventually it's going to catch up to them, guys. It's going to happen, right? Guys, cumulative data for inflation is going to be coming out soon. One of the best ways that I saw this explained the other day, because I think that they're trying to push it in the media that things are just great, right? That there is nothing to worry about because inflation's back down at 3.5%, right? And that's great news. It's not quite where we want it to be. It's not the 2% mark we want it to be, but it's getting better. Well, guys, what I think a lot of people don't really realize is that, yeah, that's 3.5%, but that's a year-over-year number. So it's not like, oh, things are magically better now. Think about it like this. All right, if you gained 10 pounds 3 years ago, 8 pounds 2 years ago, and 6 pounds last year, but only 3.5 pounds this year, have you only gained 3.5 pounds? No, you've gained 27.5 pounds. You've almost gained 30 pounds in the last 3 years, but they're trying to push it off that you've only gained 3.5 pounds. That's exactly what they're trying to make the American people think about with inflation, when we all know that it's so much more expensive for us to buy things now than it was 3 years ago, and that's not going to get better. The only thing that's going to make that happen is some massive correction, some massive just decrease. Like, something's going to happen to where costs are decreased, right? Like, we know it's going to happen. A massive recession. is going to have to happen to make things go down in price. And I don't believe that we're going to see a massive decrease in price until something like that happens. I 100% believe there is going to be a big old recession coming up. It could be this year. It could be next year. Who knows when it's going to happen? There's some data out there that's been talked about a lot about how, usually within like 18 months after a pivot is when you'll see that happen. So we're not quite there yet because the Fed is not ready to cut rates yet because they can't. They need the rates to be high because they're running out of money. If they're running out of money and they start cutting rates, they're not going to make money. And then they're like, are they just going to keep turning on that infinite printing machine? Guys, it can't go on forever, right? We know that. So just, pay attention to that. Do your own due diligence on that. And just know that it does affect what AMC is doing and what it's going to do, okay? It's going to have something to do with that. All right, guys. Real quick, let's talk about, AMC today up another 8.22%. It's up almost 1% in after hours right now. It's kind of bouncing up and down between 0 and like almost 1% in after hours. Weekly, this week we were up 19.25%. So, hey, it was a good week. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. It's nowhere near what we want it to be. So don't come at me and say that I'm excited about 19% because that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that, hey, it was a 19% up week. In any other stock in the market, people would be blowing their minds at 19% in a week. And the media is going to make you think that it's not good, okay? I was spending some time today looking at the proposals for the annual shareholder meeting that's going to be in June. And so there's a lot to read, a lot to digest. A lot of it is actually just the same stuff that happened last year most of it got voted no on last year. I'm going to go through, I'm going to reread it, see what they've changed, see what they've done. We'll talk about it later, but there is a lot of stuff in here that I think that, we are going to talk about. I'm going to give you my take on it and then let you guys, I'll post links when I do that. We'll get it all out there so you guys have the information. I'll get it out to you in plenty of time before the vote happens so you can have a better understanding of how you want to vote in this. I may or may not say my recommendations on voting because I don't think that it matters what I think to you. I think you need to make your own decision. But obviously, as I'm talking about it, you'll probably be able to hear how I feel and what I'm feeling about each of these proposals. I do want to say that as this happens, I think we're going to see some news, some more news coming out that's going to make you want to feel like that they're all against you, that the board is against you, that Adam Aaron is against you. Guys, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's not that I'm like a 100% like Adam Aaron cheerleader. I do think that he's doing a good job running the company. And the fact that AMC is still running today after COVID and after so many people thought it was going to end. Yes, apes came in and saved it, but Adam Aaron and the board helped it grow and helped it continue to keep going. Because I don't care who you are, the stock price does not pay employees. Okay, just because apes came in here and bought a bunch of shares, it saved the company from going bankrupt. Yes, 100%. But those employees didn't get paid because of that, right? Otherwise, if that's how it worked, the shares wouldn't be worth anything in any company because that money goes to pay the employees. It just doesn't make sense to think about it that way. The board and the management had to do a really good job to keep the company going. That being said, one of the things that I've talked about in the past that I'm going to make, that I am, start talking about more is DD from the past and how it makes sense now. AMC never took any of those PPE loans. They never took anything to help bolster the company during the time that all of these corporations were taking all this money and footing it on the taxpayers. AMC never took that. But you know what they did is they still paid all their employees. And if you didn't know, where's my number? Right now there's 33,812 employees that AMC is continuing to pay, and they're doing that because the company's doing well, guys. if the company's not doing well, the stock's not going to do well, and there's just a lot that goes behind that. So you have to kind of see that. One of the things that media is going to keep putting out there, especially as we get closer to the vote and the June meeting, is Adam Aaron's pay package, because I've seen so many different I've seen so many posts about that as well, about, oh, Adam Aaron's $25 million pay package for 2023, yada, yada, yada. We heard Adam Aaron talk about it at the last earnings report. He's saying that he wants his base pay to be cut and to have the majority of his money come from bonuses based on how the company does. Guys, in 2023, Adam Aaron's base pay was $1.5 million a year. That's a whole lot of money to all of us, but to somebody in a big organization like AMC, that's not a lot of money. That's why his money looks larger, is because when the company does well, he gets the stock options, he gets bonuses, he gets things like that. So if the company's not doing well, then he's not doing well. And what that really does is it aligns Adam Aaron with the stockholders, because the better the stock price does, the better the company does, the better he does. The better he does in that situation, the better we do. So I still am going to say it again. Adam Aaron is not the one driving the price down of the stock. It is the market makers. It is the Ken Griffins of the world that are doing this, and they are going to continue to do it until they don't have any options left over. So don't fight the wrong person when you are deciding what to do. Guys, some of the other DD that I'm going to go over in the coming weeks, and who knows how long I'll do it. I'll do it until MOAS comes, because there's a lot to talk about from the past. We are going to talk about like a timeline of what AMC has done and where it's been, just because I think there's still a lot of new people that are coming in, and I think it would be good to hear it. It would be good to go back and refresh our memories of things that happened in the past, so that when we start seeing those things happening again, it's fresh in our minds. We're right there, and we will tie it into what is currently going on now. I've talked about it in past videos before. I'm going to talk about it again here, is what to do during MOAS, so that you have a good exit strategy, because an exit strategy is going to be needed. One thing that you 100% need to do if you haven't done it right now is turn off your share lending. Don't let them lend your shares, right? So like if I go to Stonko Tracker right now, the other day there was 1.6 million shares available to borrow. Let's see here. Right now, we're still at 1.6 million shares available to borrow. So like turn off your share lending so that they can't use your shares to use to short, right? Like just do it. It's go into your broker, figure out how to do it, and you'll be able to take care of that. We'll talk about like what is MOAS. For those of you that don't know, we'll talk about what AMC has done in the past, how it's looking now, and all that. If there is a specific set of DD that are something specific that you would like me to talk about, let me know, because maybe I'll just talk about that first. I'm not going to go in any order. I'm just going to go with whatever I feel like doing and talking about, because that's how I do this, right? Guys, I'm here for you. I'm here to motivate. I'm here to keep you guys positive with this, because there is too many negative people out there to make the world think that AMC is dying. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. It's not that there's a lot more people out there that don't like AMC. It's that the people that don't like it are louder than those of us that do. Those of us that like the stock and those of us that think that it's going somewhere, for some reason, y'all are quieter than the people that don't like it. And I think that most of the people, I've said this 100 times, I'm going to say it again, most of the people that don't like it are paid. They're bought. They are just there to cause problems. They probably never owned a stock share of AMC, and they're just here to cause problems, to make you think that you're in a bad play. Don't let it happen. Don't let them get to you in the sense of making you think you're in the wrong play. Guys, go have a good weekend. We'll talk soon. Stay positive, stay motivated, stay motivating. Later.